Well, a couple years ago my son was really into Peter Pan, so we decided to make a sword. And I made him this. I cut it out of pine, and I made a handle guard, and I wrapped it with aluminum duct tape. Not duct tape, aluminum duct tape. It's metal on one side and sticky on the other. Then he was really into Legend of Zelda, so we obviously made a master sword. Same way, traced it out on pine. This time I wrapped it with some leather for the handle. And this one turned out really nice. We painted it and it looks really good. So now he's into He-Man, and I decided this would be a good project that we could work on together. So I used the same method of making these to make the He-Man swords. If you want to make it, first you just find a sword, a picture of it online. You print it off. Now a good size for kids is 11 by 17, so that's what I did. I printed on paper 11 by 17 as big as I could, and that handle is about the right size for a kid too. I printed it off, traced it onto a piece of pine. Again, this time I used a little bit thicker board. This is maybe a 3/4 or 5/8 inch thick. These I think turned out better, 1/4 inch. So I would go with 1/4 inch plywood or 1/4 inch pine. These kind of came out more like a club. They're a little bit too, not heavy, but they're too thick. But we traced it out on the board, cut it out on the bandsaw, and again with these they were thicker, so you couldn't really contour them. They have really flat edges on the side. I tried to round them over, but his attention span was off somewhere else, so we had to go quickly. I tried to give a little contour by adding tape on the front to build it up and round the handle over, but we made two, and we just wrapped them with that aluminum foil duct tape, and they turned out great. It was a great little project. It took less than an hour, and that's what his attention span was. Obviously with this master sword I did, you know, all the work, and I spent more time on it. I could take my time sanding stuff over. With him, he was starting to run off. I was like, wait, we got to wrap it, we got to tape it. So when you're working with a kid, it's speed and keeping their attention span is the important thing. So
for this step, I just ripped off pieces of duct tape and put them on here. And I'm going to build this up to try to create this 3D depth. So when we put the tape over here, it'll have some 3 dimensions to it. So I got to put a few more layers on.
I got the idea with this aluminum tape from Adam Savage when he and Norm were, they bought these wooden swords and they tried to make them realistic, and they wrapped them with this aluminum foil tape for your heat ducts. And Adam's idea, he said they used to do it in movie props, and he would sand it with either a Brillo pad or some sandpaper, and that dulls the finish. He said for movies you don't want it too shiny. But you know, these have all been beat up, and you can tell this one's all worn off. He's been smacking stuff with it. So one other note is try to not buy the tape, obviously not buy the tape with words on it. Some of these say, you know, the brand name. You don't want that. You want the just plain shiny aluminum tape. And you can put a handle on it, wrap a handle on it if you want, like this one, or you can just do the whole thing like a He-Man sword is. But just find a picture, print it out, trace it, cut it, and wrap it. He really likes them. Thanks. Oh, and we have some more projects to do. We want to make the axe from He-Man, so that's printed off. And we started making the master sword from the Legend of Zelda. So that I printed off on 4 different sheets of paper. I cut out the outside, I cut out the inside. We've traced it onto some boards, and we're going to paint them and put aluminum on them, but we're going to take a little more time with these. So those are future projects. Same method, print it off, trace it, cut it out, paint it, tape it, and you're done. Well, I hope you liked the video you just watched. If you did, feel free to subscribe by clicking the button on this side. You can also check out all the videos I've done, the playlist from things I've built, things I've fixed, home repair, 3D printing, and on this side you can check out a recommended video similar to the one you just watched. And as always, down in the description I'll put a link to my blog, which has more pictures and more information about the video you just watched. Thanks.